War movies should honor the real events they're based on, but sometimes Hollywood can't resist bending the truth for drama. These films might entertain, but they've also misled, manipulated, and at times, flat out lied to us. Here's a look at some of the worst offenders. John Wayne's The Green Berets isn't just inaccurate, it's straight-up propaganda. Made during a time when anti-war sentiment was at an all-time high, the film was Wayne's attempt to push a pro-war, anti-communist narrative. The story follows an anti-war journalist who's convinced of the righteousness of the Vietnam War after joining the Green Berets on a mission. But the movie's portrayal of the war is incredibly biased, painting American soldiers as noble heroes while the Viet Cong are depicted as nothing but evil. The truth about the Vietnam War was far more complex than this black and white version of events. The Battle of the Bulge was supposed to tell the story of one of World War II's most infamous battles. But the film diverges so far from the actual history that even President Eisenhower publicly renounced it. The movie squeezes a month-long battle into just a few hours and ignores key details like the importance of British forces and the role of Allied air power. Filmed in Spain rather than the forests of France, the Battle of the Bulge also throws in historically inaccurate tanks and completely overlooks well-known historical figures. No wonder Eisenhower couldn't stand it. Mel Gibson's Braveheart might be a Hollywood legend, but when it comes to historical accuracy, not so much. First off, the title itself is misleading. Braveheart wasn't William Wallace's nickname. It actually belonged to the Scottish king, Robert the Bruce. The film also glosses over Wallace's best friend, Sir John de Graham, and gives a pretty offensive portrayal of Edward II. And that famous speech? Yeah, it never happened. When it comes to the battles, Braveheart straight up lies again. The Battle of Stirling Bridge is completely misrepresented. The bridge itself, a critical part of Wallace's strategy, doesn't even appear in the film. Then there's the Battle of Falkirk, where the movie shows Robert the Bruce fighting against the Scots. That's just plain wrong. Oh, and those blue face paints? Historically, that wouldn't have been a thing either. From clothing to weapons, Braveheart is full of inaccuracies. 2012's Red Tails promised a look at the heroic Tuskegee Airmen, but the film ends up playing fast and loose with the facts. Yes, the movie includes some truths, but it also pushes a few misleading ideas, especially the claim that the Tuskegee Airmen never lost a single bomber. In reality, they lost about 25 bombers during their missions. The film also messes with dates and military equipment, creating a version of history that's much more optimistic than reality. Although The Hurt Locker isn't based on a true story, it tries to capture the intensity of the Iraq War and misses the mark. The film follows Staff Sergeant William James, a reckless leader of an explosive ordnance disposal (EOD) unit, but his actions are far from realistic. In real life, EOD soldiers don't defuse bombs face-to-face. They use robotics or explosives to neutralize the threat from a distance, making those nail-biting moments in the film purely fictional. And then there's James himself. The character's reckless behavior is not something you'd see in real-life EOD soldiers. Frankly, someone like him probably wouldn't last long in an actual war zone. Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor is packed with action, but when it comes to historical accuracy, it is one of the most inaccurate films of all time. The planes and technology used in the film are off for the time period, and there's little mention of the racial tensions or the vital role women played during the war. But one of the biggest inaccuracies? The film's protagonist illegally joins the Royal Air Force, bending the boundaries of military reality. Sure, Pearl Harbor delivers on explosions and drama, but it completely overlooks important details about the era it's trying to represent. Enemy at the Gates takes inspiration from the Battle of Stalingrad, focusing on Soviet sniper Vasily Zaitsev and his supposed duel with German sniper Erwin Koenig. The problem? There's no solid historical evidence that the duel actually happened. And while the film highlights snipers, it downplays the critical role of Soviet female snipers, who were just as important. Then there's the strange little detail of a map showing Turkey as being invaded by Germany, a completely fictional event.